To use the chat facility, the first thing to do is to type your comment or question into the chat box. You can now enter your screen name. Your screen name will show when you type your question or comment. Now you will see the chat facility ask for your email address. As I mentioned before, each of our pages are linked to people from the organisation who can reply to your questions. You can enter your email address, which will not be shared with anyone, to get a direct response from the people behind the broadcast. If you do not want a direct response, then click the button at the bottom. People behind the broadcast can still respond to you if you don't provide your email address. This just means you may have to come back to the page to check the response. To type your question, simply click on the chat box. You will then see two symbols appear. The @ symbol will mean your comment or question will be posted publicly for others to see. The email symbol means your comment or question can be sent directly to the person of your choice from the list that will appear. You can now speak to the people behind the broadcast and ask any questions you may have, or check out our partner pages to see the companies we work with who you can speak to right now about their current vacancies. You can also check out our careers page, which connects you to employers. Our live chat service is linked 24/7 to employers from a wide range of sectors, all waiting to hear from you. You can leave a question about how to produce a professional CV or how to prepare for interviews, anything work related, and one of our businesses will respond to you directly. You can also access a wide variety of live interactive broadcasts and video on demand with the live chat support on all pages. Now, this bit is for the parents, guardians, and teachers. The best bit about the live chat facility is that it is completely moderated, so you don't need to worry if your young person leaves a silly comment, as it will only show on their screen and no one else's. Another great thing about the chat facility is that it is GDPR protected, so no information is shared with anyone else. We will protect all email addresses and will never share personal information of the young people. If you have any questions about the chat facility or the Learn Live channel, please use the email us icon at the top of the page. Thank you, stay safe and stay tuned. Welcome to this live chat facility tutorial. We have had a lot of questions recently about the chat facility and how to use it, so let's get into the video. The chat facility is built with students in mind, with a tool that doesn't need to be parent or teacher led. Each of our pages are linked to the person behind the broadcast, even after it's finished, so you can always ask your questions and get a response about the broadcast. So, let's have a look at how to use the chat facility. To use the chat facility, the first thing to do is to type your comment or question into the chat box. You can now enter your screen name. Your screen name will show when you type your question or comment. Now you will see the chat facility ask for your email address. As I mentioned before, each of our pages are linked to people from the organisation who can reply to your questions. You can enter your email address, which will not be shared with anyone, to get a direct response from the people behind the broadcast. If you do not want a direct response, then click the button at the bottom. People behind the broadcast can still respond to you if you don't provide your email address. This just means you may have to come back to the page to check the response. To type your question, simply click on the chat box. You will then see two symbols appear. The @ symbol will mean your comment or question will be posted publicly for others to see. The email symbol means your comment or question can be sent directly to the person of your choice from the list that will appear. You can now speak to the people behind the broadcast and ask any questions you may have, or check out our partner pages to see the companies we work with who you can speak to right now about their current vacancies. You can also check out our careers page, which connects you to employers. Our live chat service is linked 24/7 to employers from a wide range of sectors, all waiting to hear from you. You can leave a question about how to produce a professional CV or how to prepare for interviews, anything work related, and one of our businesses will respond to you directly. You can also access a wide variety of live interactive broadcasts and video on demand with the live chat support on all pages. Now, this bit is for the parents, guardians and teachers. The best bit about the live chat facility is that it is completely moderated, so you don't need to worry if your young person leaves a silly comment, as it will only show on their screen and no one else's. Another great thing about the chat facility is that it is GDPR protected, so no information is shared with anyone else. We will protect all email addresses and will never share personal information of the young people. If you have any questions about the chat facility or the Learn Live channel, please use the email us icon at the top of the page. Thank you, stay safe and stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to the Learn Live channel and to today's Nottinghamshire Live broadcast in partnership with Balfour Beatty. Nottinghamshire Live brings you closer to two of our projects that are currently shaping the world we live in. The Top Wighave Farm Infrastructure Project and the Gedling Access Road are projects currently creating a legacy in Nottinghamshire, which is being constructed by Balfour Beatty. Joining our businesses at every level, the Balfour Beatty apprentices, graduates and trainees tackle puzzles every day. And they will be joining us today where you can get involved and learn the type of complex and challenging work that they do out there. They earn while they learn and help find answers that shape daily life. The Balfour Beatty team will give you an insight into life on a construction project and let you know how you can join the journey. The live chat will be open and available next to the video player, so please, if you have any questions for the teams you will meet today, please leave a question or a comment for our panel of construction experts. In a short while, we will be hearing from the graduates at Balfour Beatty who have taken part in one or both of those projects. They will be telling us about their experiences in the different sectors that have had influence within the two projects. But first, we will now be hearing from Matthew Neal, the Service Director for Investment and Growth for Nottinghamshire County Council. Matt will then be followed by Ian Jackson, who is the Balfour Beatty site agent on the Top Wighave Farm infrastructure. Firstly, over to you, Matt.
Welcome to Nottinghamshire Live. My name is Matthew Neal. I'm the Service Director for Investment and Growth for Nottinghamshire County Council, and I'm delighted to be introducing this event as the construction industry offers such exciting career prospects. I know there'll be a lot of skilled and talented young people who'll be watching this and will have a lot to offer this industry. As a county council, we want to make sure every young person fulfills their potential. It's certainly been a very tough and stressful time over these last few months, not to mention one of great uncertainty when it comes to deciding what to do after leaving school or college. But one thing we have confidence in is that the construction projects, such as the one which Nottinghamshire County Council are overseeing right now, are crucial in helping creating jobs and help our economy recover from this pandemic. So there will continue to be opportunities in this industry. As a county council, one of our roles is to invest taxpayers' money in our communities by building new roads, creating better cycle paths and footpaths, and making it easier for people to travel around the county when going to work, school, college, or just even to keep fit or walk to the shops. So the two projects you'll be hearing about as part of this virtual event have a major part to play in making Nottinghamshire an even better place to live, work and learn, and which will benefit generations to come. One of these is the new Gedling Access Road, which is one of the biggest construction projects our county council is currently involved in. Due to open next year, it will help reduce traffic through Gedling Village and will also link up more communities to the city centre and the rest of Nottinghamshire. The current infrastructure work to improve access to a site near Hucknall called Top Wighay is another very ambitious project by the County Council, as the long-term plan here is to create a new village with 800 new houses, as well as creating up to 1,000 jobs. Now let me hand you over to some of our partners who are experts in this field and here to help you discover even more about what it is like to work in this industry, as well as what a career in construction can offer you.
Hello, my name is Ian Jackson. I'm the Balfour Beatty site agent on the Top Wighay infrastructure project. We're working on behalf of our partnership, who are a development partner of Nottinghamshire County Council. The project will cost approximately £5.5 million. My job is to lead the team of engineers, foremen, supervisors, quantity surveyors and subcontractors on site to deliver the project safely, on time and to budget. We are working on the roads near Hucknall, Nottinghamshire. At the moment we have site offices established in a field next to the A611, but in the future there'll be a large housing development here. So we're creating more space for vehicles and accesses into the development. This means we need to build a turning lane off a dual carriageway with traffic lights, a new arm off a roundabout and widen most of the roads around the roundabout. To do this, we need to move services out of the way, construct new drainage, lay new ducting and replace street lighting, change vehicle barriers and signs, resurface and reline the carriageway, and finally put up boundary fencing, plant trees and hedges and landscape the verges. As you'll probably realise, there's a lot to do. Every day is busy and different. There's a lot to coordinate and a lot to plan to make sure people, plant and materials are in the right place at the right time. Here we need to be especially mindful of the travelling public. We have to book road space for roadworks and closures and not cause too much disruption. The traffic management is important to keep our workforce and the public safe. We also need to look after the environment to make sure we don't pollute with dust or silt or noise. So we put controls in place to stop this and monitor that any subcontractors we employ are adhering to our environmental and safety rules. The design has been completed by Via, working directly for the council, as this is a build-only contract for us. But inevitably things change on site. We find unexpected things under the ground, or sometimes it's impractical to build something the way it's drawn. So we have to come up with new ideas and methods and talk to the designers about this and get plans changed. The budget's fixed, so we can't just spend more money if there's a problem. There's financial risks to manage. We have to find the most efficient way of working and try to keep to the original cost plan. It takes a lot of work to know what we've spent and to forecast what we're going to spend to get to the end of the project. So the whole team are involved in managing the budget. So that's an overview of the Top Wighay infrastructure project. We started in May this year in the middle of the COVID pandemic, and we're planning to finish in April next year, all being well. So let's hope for some good weather over winter. Thanks.
Hello everyone, my name is Rago and I'm a graduate civil engineer from Balfour Beatty. And today I'm going to give you an insight about what I do as a graduate engineer and how the industry is so that you can make wise choices about your future, see if you like it or not. So how I came into the industry was I was after GCSEs I decided to go through the HND route, and then I just picked civil engineering and I ended up liking it. So I decided to further it by going to do my degree. It was a 4-year degree, and then afterwards the whole job hunting phase. I finally got a job with them, and this is more of a traditional route, to be honest. So you have another option, and that's the apprenticeship route, where after your A levels itself, you can apply for apprenticeship. And if, for example, at Balfour Beatty, if they like you during the interviews and stuff, they'll take you on. They will pay for your degree. So basically, you learn and earn. So it's killing two birds with one stone. And I think the difference is mainly that between me as a graduate engineer and an apprentice engineer is that I've gone through uni, so my technical knowledge is slightly more than an apprentice engineer, because he or she would be doing uni at the same time as working. So, but for me, I would have preferred, if someone advised me before, I would have preferred the apprenticeship route, because I'm the kind of person who, when I learn something, I would like to see it happen. So if that's your learning style, then an apprenticeship will be well good for you. And my typical day as a graduate engineer, 7:30 we come, we report to site, get up, we go out, talk to the workforce about the day, but at the same time, mentally we'll be thinking, seeing if they're going according to our program, our plan, see if there's any issues holding them back. Sometimes we take the instrument. I think some of you, when you're going on on a A road or something, you'd see people holding a weird box machine. So that's called a total station, where we use it to mark out whatever they need to construct. So sometimes we do that to check whether the subcontractors are following the design and stuff. So we do our spot checks, we do quality checklists to see whether the works is up to the standard that the client wants. And then at the end of the day, we do our daily diaries, basically saying what we've done or what we've seen today, how far the project is going, how good the project is going, and stuff. So, and as a graduate engineer, I'm in a 2-year graduate scheme, so basically I'm learning as well. Whatever you learn in uni will not be, you may not fully utilize it, because if you're working for a contractor, you need that site experience to understand. And that site experience will help you link back to whatever you learn in uni. And as a graduate engineer, if you're talking about money wise, which is important as well, you start between £26,000 a year to £28,500 a year. So, and that depends on how many, if you have any previous experience, whether you've been through summer placements and stuff. So, but typically, as you gain more experience, the more years you have under your belt, the more money they'll pay you. And progression-wise, the Midlands is having a growing economy now, so there's a lot of construction work going on, and the construction industry would be at its peak for the next few years. So if you're ever looking for a stable job, this is the industry you want to be. And like for myself, my career ambitions is that I want to definitely climb up the ladder. I want to be a project manager someday. So that's what I'm working toward. But more so, before you can do that, you need to learn, you need to be hardworking, and you need to be enthusiastic, and that's how you progress in your career as well. So I hope you guys, know what it's like to be in the construction industry, and I hope you make wise choices. And one advice I'll give is always do what you like and what you prefer. Don't go for the money.
Hello everyone, my name's Tom. I'm a trainee quantity surveyor working for a company called Gleeds. I've been at Gleeds now for just over 2 years, and I've recently started my 3rd year at Nottingham University doing a degree apprenticeship in quantity surveying and commercial management. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I got involved in the industry and how the degree apprenticeship works. I'm then going to give you some examples of what a typical day would look like in my role. Then I'll talk to you a little bit about your progression opportunities as a quantity surveyor and the earnings that brings along your career. My introduction to the construction industry began back in February 2018 when I did a week's worth of work experience with Gleeds. At the time I was in sixth form doing my A-levels with not a great idea as to what I wanted to do, but I knew I was interested in business and I wanted to go to university, but I didn't really see where this would take me after I finished my degree. It wasn't until a conversation with one of my dad's mates about what he did for work that I discovered quantity surveying. I would admit before this conversation I didn't really know what it was, but what he had to say sparked my interest, I guess. After this conversation I went about researching what the job involved and any local employees in my area, and that's when I stumbled across Gleeds. So I sent them an email explaining who I was and what I was doing at sixth form, and said that I wanted to get more of an insight into the industry by possibly doing some work experience. And luckily for me, they sent me a reply. It was decided that I would spend a week in their Nottingham office over my February half term with the 3 different areas of their business. So the project management team, I spent 2 days with them, a day with the building surveyors, and then 2 days with the quantity surveyors. And after that week, it was clear to me that my favourite and my most enjoyable time was with the quantity surveyors. So I sent them an email back saying, look, thank you for the opportunity and the experience. If there was any possibility of a interview, I'd love to come for a chat. And that brings me to where I am today, really. I'm now involved with a number of projects, with the most recent one being for a very large online retailer. You may have heard of them, and that's for the construction of a distribution centre up near the East Midlands Airport, and the total construction cost on that's about 112 million, so it's a fairly big project. My day-to-day activities can vary from assisting with cost estimates for feasibility studies for potential projects, or undertaking measurement exercises to quantify materials for projects, or even going on site visits to perform valuations. Positives about my job is that working on a wide variety of projects always keeps your week quite interesting. So there's always something new to see and learn, and this is especially true when you're going on site, as it breaks up your week and means you're not stuck in the office all the time. As an apprentice quantity surveyor, you can expect starting salaries of anywhere between £15,000 to £20,000 depending on the company you work for. This usually rises on a yearly basis up to around £25,000 once you've graduated. After you've graduated, if you manage to get your chartership through the RICS, a newly chartered surveyor can expect anywhere between £25,000 to £35,000. Once you've gained a bit of industry experience, this can rise between 35 to 55, and then at managerial level, anywhere between 55 to 80k plus. Looking ahead at the next 5 years, I hope I will have obtained my degree from Nottingham University and will have got my chartership through the RICS. After I've got these qualifications and a wider array of industry experience, I hope that I'll be running my own projects for Gleeds. So thank you all for listening, and I wish you all the best in your future careers.
Hi, I'm Katherine Parsons. I'm a degree apprentice currently studying at Nottingham University and working for a company called Gleeds in their Nottingham office in their cost management department. All studying for university is online this year though due to the coronavirus. I decided to join the construction industry when I was carrying out my GCSEs, as I undertook lots of work experience in different sectors and professions, and I really enjoyed my time with a property developer in their quantity surveying department. So when Gleeds came into my sixth form to advertise degree apprenticeships and the construction industry, I jumped at the opportunity to undertake work experience with them. I got involved in great projects and really enjoyed the team I worked with. So when they asked me to apply for a degree apprenticeship, I thought it was a fantastic idea. I hadn't always considered doing a degree apprenticeship though, as I was originally going to go to university full-time. However, when I researched degree apprenticeships advantages, I thought it was an opportunity I could not miss, as you can earn while you learn, you're developing a network that will grow with you from a very early age, you're learning theoretical knowledge at university that you can put into practice at work. At the moment, I'm currently working on a leisure scheme and a major heritage project in Nottingham, but we don't just do quantity surveying, we also do project management, building surveying, all in different sectors such as infrastructure, education, even defence work, brewery projects, so it is very diverse. No project is ever the same, so it's a really exciting industry to be involved in. Being in the construction industry, I've had many opportunities that I otherwise wouldn't have had. With university and other students, I was able to meet a Member of Parliament to discuss degree apprenticeships and the advantages of working in the construction industry. I've also attended lots of networking events, which has allowed me to grow a network that will grow with me in the future. My future aims and goals are to become a chartered surveyor and potentially move abroad, as Gleeds have lots of offices in different countries. To anyone considering doing a degree apprenticeship or joining the construction industry, I'd simply say, go for it.
Hi, my name's Alana. I'm an assistant architectural technologist at Art Partnership. I've been with the company 3 years and have recently been promoted from a trainee to an assistant. I'm really happy with where I am, and I'm really happy to be with the company I am with, and I'm really thankful to them as well. So I went down a normal route, did all my GCSEs, I got 2 A-levels and an AS, and then was diagnosed with dyslexia just after I was 18, due to a friend, which I'm really thankful for, who is now an English teacher, and he helped me actually go down the route and actually persuaded me to do it because he could see I was struggling. I then applied to the University of Derby, had to do an access route in, so I did a year 0, which was year 0 venue design. This was in a group of classes where you had venue designers, photographers, different people in there, and in my opinion it was just an access route into uni. I technically did 2 years instead of the 1, but I had some issues, but in my opinion I learned so much from them 2 years, not generally from the course but how I react to uni, which put me in better stead for starting my course I went into. So after I did that one, I did 3 years of Architectural Technology and Practice, BSc, so Bachelor of Science, at the University of Derby, like I said. This was really beneficial. It gave you a wide range of experience, and the thing I loved more is instead of jumping straight into the technology side, so CAD drawings or Revit drawings or software based, it did a whole year of hand drawings and how to get the scales right and how to make something look correct technically, instead of getting you onto CAD and Revit and then you going to site and going, oh, I can't actually draw. So it put me in a better stead for starting my job because I could draw naturally, go on site, do a detail, send it off, and not actually have to worry about, oh no, I need to draw this out on a computer. My course did have an option of doing a year placement. I didn't do this, but in my stead it actually helped me better, because I did, my dissertation project was in health and safety and demolition, and this I met one of my current colleagues who passed my details on to my manager of how I actually got my job, which I'm very thankful for. So it took me about 6 months to get my job with ARC. Went to loads of different interviews, and I think that's the key thing with everything. Put yourself out there, get the experience. So I've got so much to talk about and there's only a limited amount of time. So after I was with ARC a year, doing many different projects, secure units, schools, kick-off meetings, how to talk to clients, and general day-to-day stuff which people, I don't think, will think about, like admin-y stuff and so much. I then went back to uni to do a master's in sustainable architecture and healthy buildings, which I have only recently, within the last 3 months, finished. Which I completed and got my merit, which I'm really, really happy about, which has kind of brought on my promotion. So I also thought of what advice would I give someone trying to go down this route. Now, my main thing is, it doesn't matter whether you're a very, very smart person, a not smart person, in the middle, half and half. Nothing matters by yourself. You're the person that will be holding you back, but don't let that happen. You need to be the best you can be, no matter what anyone says. I had people doubt whether I was actually going to get into uni, let alone finish uni, do my masters and get my job. And I've proved a lot of people wrong, which I am very, very happy about, and I think that also pushed me to where I want to be. But there is no limit to what you can do. Learn, listen. I know these are just general stuff, but use as many people around you as possible to get where you want to be. They are willing to help, and at the end of the day, your ability won't affect you. But that's all I can fit in currently. But just be the best you can be.
I'm a Part 2 architectural assistant at ARC Partnership. I'm currently training to become an architect, as this does take quite a long time. The absolute shortest time it takes to become an architect is 7 years, and you have to complete what is called your Part 1, Part 2 and Part 3 before you can call yourself an architect. So I personally started my journey 8 years ago by taking an integrated Masters in Architecture and Environmental Design for my Part 1. I then completed my compulsory work experience working for a small architectural practice in Leeds. At this practice, I got to work on a variety of projects from education through to residential and leisure. This compulsory work experience really allows you to gain real life experience of the built environment and how things work in reality, and not just a hypothetical university project, which a lot of your Part 1 is based on. So I learnt in detail about the building regulations, how planning permission works, as well as client-facing skills such as how to conduct yourself in meetings or how to respond to queries on site. So I finished my Masters this summer and I'm now working back at ARC full-time. At the moment, I'm assisting on a variety of projects that ARC is working on, from housing feasibilities through to office developments. I get to use a range of skills that I've learned along the way, from 3D modelling, which probably makes up the most of my time, but also helping with things like report writing. It is often said that the skills you learn becoming an architect are really invaluable and completely transferable to whatever you set your mind to. I've also just been given my first project, taking on a project manager's role, giving me more control and allowing me to learn a different aspect of the job role. And this is really critical for my career progression because I have to have a better understanding of the admin side of things and all the steps that are required within a project. In November this year, I'm going to begin my Part 3, which comes in the form of a postgraduate certificate in professional practice and architecture. I hope to continue working within the industry, taking on more responsibility and running my own project teams. I'm really keen to continue working within the education sector, as it's an area that I'm passionate about, and thankfully it's an area that ARC is really heavily involved in. There's always going to be a need for buildings, and there will always be a need for people who can design and bring them to life, which is why I think it's such a rewarding career, being able to see a building go from a scribble on a page to a real life thing. Thank you for listening, and I hope this gives you some ideas or inspiration for your future careers in the built environment.
my name is Hamza Ahmed, and the role that I took into the civil engineering industry was once I completed my A-levels, I went on to work as a trainee engineering technician whilst pursuing my HNC part-time in civil engineering. Upon completing my HNC, I realised that this is the industry for me, and I wanted to become a civil stroke structural engineer. After completing my HNC, I went on to pursue my bachelor's degree full-time, and I graduated in 2018. Since graduating, I've worked predominantly as a structural engineer for Arc Partnership, and I've thoroughly enjoyed working for Arc Partnership and as a structural engineer. And starting from this academic year, I've started my Masters in Structural Engineering with Management with a goal to complete my studies within the next two years, and then hopefully go for my chartership with the ICE in becoming a chartered engineer. A typical day in my role involves carrying out concept design, detailed design, following this through with technical drawings, and on-site dealing with contractor queries, and attending to carry out site inspections, and then at the end of the project carrying out a defects inspection. I also have the opportunity to carry out structural inspections of existing structures, provide remedial solutions to structural defects. If you have any questions, please leave them in the live chat.
The Orchard School's been here for a very long time, so it's really ready for replacement. So having thought that through and worked out the feasibility, we then set to and got the plans drawn up, we got the funding put in place, and here we are today. We have now started on this new school, and some very excited children, and I think a very excited head teacher as well.
It's something that the children deserve, and we'll be able to continue our quality education in facilities that meet the needs of the children, so it'll be absolutely fantastic for us.
The biggest consideration was trying to keep the Orchard School live. Whilst we were designing the school, we had to make sure we had a design that enabled us to keep that school live. Also to make the design easy for the children to understand in terms of where they arrive and when they leave, and colour played a big part of the design.
For Wilmot Dixon, it's been really exciting to be involved in this project so far. I mean, being able to bring two campuses together in one place, I think is going to be so special for the school, and obviously it's a big project for Nottinghamshire County Council and for ARC and for ourselves.
We were given the project to move the day centre out into Woods Court, so we refurbished the Woods Court to move the day service into, which was a challenging project in itself. So we worked with ARC very closely, and to be honest, they were really happy with the standard that we got it to.
I'm looking forward to it and up for a challenge. I think if you work together, you can complete anything if you push yourselves.
You all ready? After three, big cheers again. So ready? 1, 2, 3! Yay!
Mitchell. I am a trainee electrical design engineer for ARC Partnership. I'm 23 years old. Firstly, I'd like to thank Learn Live for giving me the opportunity today to talk about my career progression, talk about my journey and my route into the industry so far, and also what the day-to-day activities look like as a electrical design engineer. So firstly, it started for me when I'd left school. I started college. I studied construction in the built environment, and upon leaving college, left and worked on a construction site as a tradesman for a number of years, and then that's when I decided that I wanted to make the leap from a tradesman up to more of a professional level, higher education, and I really needed to decide what career path I wanted to go down. And I know this is a normal thing for people. It's kind of not clear, and you really just need to sit out and analyse your interests. For me, it was architecture and electrical services. I married the two together to get an electrical design engineer, and that's how I knew what route I really wanted to go down. So upon doing that, I figured out I wanted to go down the electrical design engineer route. I did some research into what qualifications were required to be able to get accepted into this role. And generally speaking, it was an electrical level 3 certificate. So I went back to training. I got my electrical qualifications. I applied for the role at ARC Partnership as a trainee electrical design engineer, and fortunately I got accepted, and I'm able to talk about it today. So general roles and responsibilities as a design engineer, as a electrical design engineer, is to design electrical systems. So electrical systems, what are they? They could be anything from a fire alarm system, lighting system, emergency lighting system, IT communication, security, anything generally within a building, any electrical system within a building, you could find yourself doing design work on that from a day-to-day basis. Now, it's also really important to realize that your responsibilities will surpass design as well. So what I mean by that is project management, and you will be expected to also project manage projects as well. So you're going to really learn an array of skills, and it's not just designing electrical systems, it's overall project management. How does a project run? Time scales, deadlines, also the different phases of the project, detailed design, handover, site mobilization, things like that. You'll be setting up the program as well. So as a day-to-day basis, you could find yourself project managing one of your sites. You could find yourself doing a bit of design work on electrical system as well. So as a trainee electrical engineer, yes, that means I'm still in training. I'm doing a electrical and electronic HNC. I am in my second year doing that right now. I plan on staying on and progressing on to the HND, and then moving on further and getting a degree as well. So starting salaries typically, if you go through the university, the trainee electrical start off at university, it could be between 16 and 18,000 a year starting salary. If you're on an apprenticeship, of course it's a little bit different. As you graduate from your HNC, HND, you could expect between 24 and 26,000 a year. These numbers vary with employers, so do take it with a little bit of tolerance. Further on as you progress, you could be expecting between 40 and 50,000 a year. If you decide to get chartered, then that's a bit of a different salary level. From there, you can expect an increase from that. Okay, so that's it for me. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.
Hi guys, I'm Rob Clark, trainee quantity surveyor from Balfour Beatty, currently working on civil engineering projects in Nottingham on behalf of Balfour Beatty's regional business. I'm working on 2 projects at the moment. One's called Gedling Access Road, which is a 3.8 kilometre road on the outskirts of Nottingham, and also Nottingham Flood Alleviation Scheme. So for myself, as I said, I'm a quantity surveyor, trainee quantity surveyor at the moment. My route into the construction industry was originally going to be through university, so I was going to be looking at going to university full-time. So I applied through UCAS, did all that sort of thing at A-level, applied for Nottingham Trent, which is just down the road from me now, and I got an unconditional offer there. But closer to the time, I decided that I'd rather have sort of a hands-on experience, so I got to work as well while studying. So from that, I decided to look at sort of these degree apprenticeships, they were called, or traineeships, which is how Balfour's call them. And I applied for a few and sort of saw what could happen, and ended up getting an offer with Balfour Beatty. So my original offer was down in the Northampton office. Down there I was working on procurement mainly, which was engaging with different companies, contractors, and getting them sort of ready to come onto a project and assist us in delivering it. So how it works within Balfour's normally, because we're a main contractor, is that we're sort of the top group looking after the project, and then we have sub companies below us who will manage and carry out the works for us, and then we'll also be carrying out some of the works as well. So mainly it was getting prices from them, quotes from them, doing that sort of thing, ready to price up for the project. And then the main thing for me I love about my route is that although it takes a long time through university, so it's a 5-year course to get my degree, I get all the work experience with it, so I already familiarise myself with the job, and those sort of key skills and things I learn can be used in my university studies. So next year is my final year, my 5th year, in which I have a dissertation to write, which I think, although I'm not sure what to do now, I think from what I've been doing, the people around me, the different projects I've been on, there's a lot that I could use for that. Which could also will also help my development within the company as well as professionally. A typical day for me at the moment during lockdown, I'm working from home, but typical day for me will be just get up, get ready for work. I'm set up at the dining room table at the moment. Generally, I'm on the Gedling Road. I'm looking after about 20 different subcontractors, so 20 different smaller companies working on the project. So normally it's just managing their quotations, what they're applying for money-wise, anything the guys need there. Any changes that we have to the design, so generally through the construction project there's lots of changes to how the client wants us to finish the final product, so passing that on to those companies and then pricing up for those changes and passing them back on to the client if that's something they want to do. Or we'll run into problems on site. There could be, if we're digging up a road, we might run into a pipe and that then needs moving and that needs pricing for, and that's sort of where I get involved. So at the trainee level above me there's a senior and a managing QS, so I'll normally report directly to them and they'll assign me tasks if they need to, but generally my work sort of comes in from those subbies. And then on my other job I'm the commercial lead, so almost fulfilling the same role as the senior guy, so I'm overlooking the whole project, looking after those subcontractors, but also reporting the figures up the chain to the management. In terms of my role, I do really enjoy my role. I get a different sort of action every day. No day's the same. Some days will be easier, some days harder. You get to meet a lot of people. You get to speak to clients, a lot of client liaison and sort of all that sort of thing. And you also get to be involved in elements that help out the local area. So on a few jobs we've done litter picking and all that sort of thing, which is great to be a part of. In terms of my role in salary, so I started the business on around 17 but they were funding my university. You'd look to when you're a fully qualified quantity surveyor, which could either be a few years after graduating, or if you come through my route, you'd look for it to probably be about a year. You'd look to probably be on about 30 grand then, maybe 35,000. And there's potential to keep going up and up, as high as you want to go, really. So there's a lot of opportunity there. Within the future for myself, obviously I currently work on civils, so I'm working on roads, bridges, all that sort of thing. I would like to expand upon that, maybe do a bit of travelling with it, because that is a big hobby of mine, so I would love to get involved in something abroad as well. I think what I'm doing at the moment I really do enjoy, and I think I'd like to carry on with that, but I would like to sort of experience some other bits as well, and also it'd be interesting to get involved in some big projects with a lot of people on, maybe with our major projects department, which look after the bigger schemes, but also get involved in some of the more local ones that just are more helpful for the community, not necessarily as a big value. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there for any sort of commercial role in construction. That's sort of what I know, but I also know the guys from the operational sector really enjoy their roles. So that's me, that's my role, that's who I am and what I do at Balfour Beatty. Thank you for listening.
Hiya, I'm Amy McAllister and I am a graduate site engineer with Balfour Beatty. So I only started this site, so this is Gedling Road Access in Nottingham. So I only started this site this July, so this summer. So I graduated from Leeds Beckett University in June. Moved home obviously during COVID because everything's been a bit strange with that. And then started work in July, which has been pretty awesome. So it's been a pretty good year for me this far. So I work with Adam Fitzgerald, who you may or may not yet have seen the video of, and I work with their subcontractors to do the drainage on site. So I do a lot of drainage check sheets, so I go around and make sure the pipes are in the way they should be and everything is as it is. So currently I'm standing about a third of the way down the job, which will be your new road, which is not quite looking the way it should at the minute. And if you can see behind me, so there is also, behind the camera there's two more, but there is one here, there is one there. So we've got 5 in total, sorry, there's 3 behind the camera. And these are the settlement monitors, which when they were put in, so they were put in essentially as a stick in layman's terms. So they are put in and then we've built up the ground, so the ground's been built up about 8 metres since, so, pardon me, so these sticks, or in reality, if you go to the bottom of the stick, there's about another 6 sticks underneath. So what I do, every day I come out on site, I set up with the total station, which is a bit of kit that site engineers use, and I monitor the sticks to see how much the sticks have fallen. So the reason we do this, and the reason why it's on this part of the site, is this part of the site was an old railway embankment many years ago. That has then been filled with landfill when it went out of use, so there's nothing else for it. So then we've essentially built on top of that. And as you can imagine, like landfill, when you put some wheat on it, some of it might rot because it might be old food and that sort of thing. So it's all going to be squashed down. So we've put the stick monitoring, so it's a method of seeing just how much the ground settles. So we'll put it in at this level, but obviously over time it'll settle down to a bit lower. So we've just got to keep a really close eye on how much it settles. So then another form of monitoring we also have on this location, which you cannot see above ground, unlike settlement, is liquid monitoring. So these were put in, so it's just flat plates and it's all connected with hydraulics, all connected with fluid. And they're just a sort of like not more detailed, but just a bit more precise way of monitoring how much the ground settles. So these have also been installed, and there's probably one now right under where I'm standing. So that is essentially what I do, and I do absolutely all sorts on site. As you can imagine, as a graduate, I just get thrown in and just given loads of stuff. But I'm seriously enjoying it, and I cannot recommend coming into like a STEM career or coming into civil engineering enough, because I really enjoy the site. So hi, it's Amy again, and I'm up now on the other end of the job. So this is Burton Road. So you've seen me before, where I've been at the settlement monitors, which is about 2 kilometres that way. So now at the other end of the job, and I'm with Anthony, who you've probably seen his video, and he manages most of this end of it. So I'm here to answer a question that I don't think I quite answered in the other question. I'm sure a very obvious thing is I'm a woman on site, and I absolutely adore it. I think it's quite a cool thing, and I really enjoy encouraging other women to get onto site. It's definitely not as daunting as you're going to think it is. So one of the reasons I got into engineering is I just enjoyed seeing how things came apart and came back together. So with that, and then I was like, do you know what? I want to look really cool in high vis all day and walk around with my hard hat on. So so one of the main reasons why I got, why I got into civil engineering is just the enjoyment of being outdoors and being out on site all day and actually seeing how things come together. And obviously with civils, you're seeing literally everyday things. So like I've discussed before, I do a lot of the drainage, and that can be, even though this is not quite the same, but it can literally be the drainage off your kitchen sink. So behind us, you can see guys working. So this is going to be a central reservation of, the carriageway. So the guys are working at the minute to put in some street lighting and some ducting boxes. So the ducting boxes are used to carry all the cables that's required for all the lighting through the job, through the central reservation.
Hi, I'm Adam. I've started with Balfour's in April this year, so it's about 7 months now, as a site engineer. I've been placed with the drainage package on we're in Nottingham, in Gedling Access Road, so it's about a 4 kilometre long stretch of road with a lot of drainage, and as you can see behind me, we've got a lot of storage tanks, ponds, a lot of pipes that you can't see in the ground. This is part of one of the bigger tanks on the job, and there's more scattered around, and behind you can see one of the drainage ponds. These have all been installed because of the lack of attenuation for the water across the job. I've been looking after this package, so I go out day to day, not setting out. We've got a separate contractor who sets everything out for us, and then I can go out and check the quality, make sure everything's going in right, do all the check sheets, make sure everything that our contractor does is done to the right specification and is all okay, and mainly is done safe. So, and you can see now that they're covering one of the tanks with tree root barrier to stop. Basically, there's going to be trees planted in this area. This will be a protection from the tree roots to penetrate the barrier, obviously, because this tank is meant to be watertight. If we start growing trees on top of it, the roots will go through it if this isn't there, and obviously it'll start losing water. So yeah, I've been, ever since I started Balfour's, I was with my previous company, I was doing my ICE, which is my Institution of Civil Engineers chartership. I've started that up again with Balfour Beatty, and it's going really well. I've still got a few years left. But
Hi, I'm Anthony Cowan. I work for Balfour Beatty as a site engineer. Currently working on Gedling Access Road in Nottingham. So it's a big £30 million scheme just to provide a bypass road for the people of Gedling. So it's a pretty good project. I became a civil engineer because I was really interested in Brunel. I was a bit of a bookworm when I was younger, so I found it fascinating how he managed to build things and how we still use a lot of his ideas today, particularly in like the tunnel industry, and his railway still stands, which I think is pretty cool. I went to the University of Manchester to study civil and structural engineering, where I got a master's degree. It was a really, really good course, a really good university. I enjoyed my time there. So following that, became a graduate at Balfour Beatty. I decided that construction was the path that I wanted to take. And then alongside that, they offered me the ICE membership, so I could do my training course, which is really worth getting into. Helps you learning, makes you better at your job and so on. I'm also a STEM ambassador, so I go into schools from time to time, talk about STEM subjects, do little activities, just to promote STEM. I just think it's very important for people, particularly young people, to get into engineering. So if we just do a quick tour of site. So I'm currently stood with my GPS. This is one of the more important pieces of equipment that we use. So it basically tells you where you are on site, so in terms of level. So for example, we're stood in a roadbox area. Sorry, it's giving me a call. A roadbox area, so it can tell you what the level is at this position, and then you feed back to the machine drivers and so on, just to tell you, to tell them what they need to do next. So in the background, you can see an excavator. So that's basically trimming up the road construction level, ready for blacking, which is where we put the tarmac, how you would know the road to look like. Here we have a roller. So every time you put a layer of material on, you have to make sure it's rolled and compacted properly. It's really important to make sure there's no bubbles or hills in the road to make it look nice and smooth. Here they've got a queue of dump trucks ready to put the material on, ready for compaction. But yeah, this is only a small part of the project. This is part of Burton Road. So as you can see around here, we've got a pedestrian footpath that we've constructed. This is a priority because we're adjacent to a large secondary school. So a lot of kids come in and out during the day, so we have to make sure access is present and as safe as possible. So they've got all the fencing going around. So if you became an engineer, there's plenty of cool projects like this. You get to meet loads of really interesting people of different backgrounds. Get to talk to a lot of your mates, which is also quite good. Solve problems and build stuff like this. So yeah, we're nearly done. And thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Rabia. I am currently a student at Loughborough University and have been placed on an industrial placement at Balfour Beatty. So during my A-levels, I was doing lots of research about which career path is the right one for me. And as I always had a keen interest in STEM, and I knew that is my area of interest because that has an impact on the world, and for that reason, I thought civil engineering is the correct option for me. As we don't only build stuff, we also maintain, we also look after, we also design lots of different things which help our environment and protect our environment, which is very important. That's why I chose civil engineering. And after choosing civil engineering, I chose Loughborough University for doing my degree. During this second year of university, we get advised to look for placements to give us industrial experience. So when we graduate, it's easier for us to find graduate jobs. So I had been looking through lots of different websites, to the university, going to careers events to find a good place to go on placement. And then I came across Balfour Beatty. I did quite a lot of research and heard that Balfour Beatty is a very well-known company. It works around the Midlands where I stay, so it's quite easy for me to get to. And I've just been looking at different projects Balfour Beatty has been doing, which interested me more. And also their slogan, "Build to Last," which I think is very important because we should build to make things last. So that's what attracted me towards the company. So the typical day in my role is I arrive on site around 7:38. Then we get briefed on what I need to do in the day. Also, I go on site to see the works, what are going on. We have to do checklists to see if they're doing works properly, if they're doing it according to the drawings. And then I also look at permits, because there's a 33 kV line going through the road where we're doing work, so we have to be very careful, and because it can be very dangerous. So I'm just looking at the subcontractors, what they're doing, and if there's any problems, trying to solve them. That's a day on site. The typical salary for interns, so placement years, I think it's around 16 to 17,000 per year. However, after graduation, this could increase to approximately 25 to 28,000 pounds a year, which is quite high compared to other industries. With Balfour Beatty, there's loads of progression opportunities, as the company wants you to progress and help you to progress. So after my graduation, I would look to become a site engineer, then a section engineer, and there's like loads of different things. Then you go to sub-agent, then agent. So there's loads of different ways I could progress my route in Balfour Beatty. So I'm very excited because the company helps towards progression and helps you to learn more and grow yourself they don't only see you as a worker, they see you as an individual, and they help you progress. That's why I think this is a very good company.
Thank you to all the speakers from this morning's session. It was great to hear about all the different roles and routes you took and what you enjoy the most about your job. Now it's time for something different. The team at Balfour Beatty want to see what you can do, so have set you a task. Tall buildings can be a marker of a famous city, from the CN Tower in Toronto, Canada, to the Shard in London. These impressive structures define the skyline of world-leading cities. These tall structures are only possible because of the work of civil engineers who design these massive structures to be able to withstand high winds and earthquakes. Civil engineers use lots of different materials to build towers. These materials need to be strong enough to hold up the weight of the tower, but also flexible enough that it can move very slightly in the wind. Did you know that the top of the Shard can wobble around 15 centimetres in high winds? The most commonly used material for building high towers, because it is both strong and flexible, is steel. We obviously can't use steel beams in our activity, but we can use spaghetti, which has similar properties. Your challenge is to build a 1 metre tall tower using uncooked spaghetti and marshmallows. You will need uncooked spaghetti, marshmallows. If you don't have these, you could use Play-Doh, a bike light or a small torch, a rigid tape measure, but if you don't have one, measure and cut a piece of string with a ruler, and finally some elastic bands. Start off by experimenting by making different shapes, using the spaghetti to pierce the marshmallows and join up with other sticks of spaghetti. You can break the sticks of spaghetti into different sizes to try different shapes. Top tip: triangles are a very strong shape that civil engineers use when building bridges and towers. Once you have had a bit of time playing with different shapes, you should now plan out how you're going to make your tower by drawing a diagram on a sheet of paper. Civil engineers make sure they plan out everything in detail before starting to build anything, so they know what they are doing. Once your planning is done, it's time to start building. So, clear a space and see if you can build your tower 1 metre high. When you reach the height, it's time to add a final important feature. Buildings like the Shard are so tall that they need to have special flashing lights on them so that aircrafts can see them and make sure they don't fly into them. Use elastic bands to attach a flashing bike light to the top of your tower. This will be a test to see how strong your tower really is. Once you are done, turn on the bike light and turn out the room lights or pull the curtain and see your tower flash. Your goal is to build a 150 centimetre tall tower. You will have to think carefully about how to support your tower, especially lower down, so that it is strong and stable enough to get to that height. Don't worry if you can't complete the task yet and need to do it at home. You'll see this video below in the on-demand section, and we'll find some text about the spaghetti tower in the resources section. Good luck. Thank you, Matt and Ian, and to all of those incredible graduates who have spoken to us today. If you haven't had chance to leave a message in the live chat, here is your chance to be heard. You can leave a question or a comment in the chat, as it is now open and available for the experts to respond back to you. We will be back soon. Thank you so much to all of our experts that have been available today on the chat and have spoken to us on the channel. It is incredible to see what amazing things that the graduates of today can do within these incredible projects. This could potentially be you one day. If you feel like you might be too late to leave a question, don't worry. The chat is always open, available and live, so please place your comments in the live chat and one of our graduates or the team at Balfour Beatty will get back to you as soon as possible. Coming up next week, we'll be seeing plenty of incredible LEPs and the partnering companies as they look further into what is available within your local area. You won't want to miss it. Bye for now.
Welcome to this live chat facility tutorial. We have had a lot of questions recently about the chat facility and how to use it, so let's get into the video. The chat facility is built with students in mind, with a tool that doesn't need to be parent or teacher led. Each of our pages are linked to the person behind the broadcast, even after it's finished, so you can always ask your questions and get a response about the broadcast. So, let's have a look at how to use the chat facility. To use the chat facility, the first thing to do is to type your comment or question into the chat box. You can now enter your screen name. Your screen name will show when you type your question or comment. Now you will see the chat facility ask for your email address. As I mentioned before, each of our pages are linked to people from the organisation who can reply to your questions. You can enter your email address, which will not be shared with anyone, to get a direct response from the people behind the broadcast. If you do not want a direct response, then click the button at the bottom. People behind the broadcast can still respond to you if you don't provide your email address. This just means you may have to come back to the page to check the response. To type your question, simply click on the chat box. You will then see two symbols appear. The @ symbol will mean your comment or question will be posted publicly for others to see. The email symbol means your comment or question can be sent directly to the person of your choice from the list that will appear. You can now speak to the people behind the broadcast and ask any questions you may have, or check out our partner pages to see the companies we work with who you can speak to right now about their current vacancies. You can also check out our careers page, which connects you to employers. Our live chat service is linked 24/7 to employers from a wide range of sectors, all waiting to hear from you. You can leave a question about how to produce a professional CV or how to prepare for interviews, anything work related, and one of our businesses will respond to you directly. You can also access a wide variety of live interactive broadcasts and video on demand with the live chat support on all pages. Now this bit is for the parents, guardians and teachers. The best bit about the live chat facility is that it is completely moderated, so you don't need to worry if your young person leaves a silly comment, as it will only show on their screen and no one else's. Another great thing about the chat facility is that it is GDPR protected, so no information is shared with anyone else. We will protect all email addresses and will never share personal information of the young people. If you have any questions about the chat facility or the Learn Live channel, please use the email us icon at the top of the page. Thank you, stay safe and stay tuned.